Hey guys, thanks for joining me. Today we're going to talk about the F word. Actually, a couple of F words. Have you ever effed up so badly, not just in presentations, but maybe interviews like a job interview or maybe an on-camera media interview or a work assignment, and doesn't have to do anything with a presentation. Have you done that effed up so badly that you wish you could erase it from your memory, but it still haunts you to this day, even if it was years ago? I definitely have one of those moments. So I want to share that with you and be real with you about the F word, effing up, as well as the F word of fear. So I'll go to my story now. I was a young working reporter in Midland, Texas, my first market, my first job as a reporter. And this was in 2001, 2002 maybe. I was sent out to a breaking news situation at Midland Memorial Hospital. This is Midland, Texas. And I was sent with a photographer with a live truck. There was a man with a gun who was standing on the top story of Midland Memorial Hospital's parking structure, threatening to shoot himself or police officers if they didn't leave him alone. I don't remember what the incident was, what caused it, but this was the situation. Streets around the hospital were closed, so we were sent out there to make sure everyone stayed away from the area and stayed safe and didn't get caught in traffic. So I was sent out there, did my job as a reporter, interviewed police officers, witnesses on the scene, and was taking my notes and getting my thoughts ready for my live shot. We were going to break into programming. It was in the middle of the day, so it was probably soap operas. And the photographer had the idea of us standing on top of the live truck. Have you guys seen live trucks? Most of them are vans, large vans. So standing on top of the live truck, so we got a good vantage point of the top story of the parking structure. So climbed up there. The competitors from the CBS station and the ABC station, I was at the NBC station, News West 9. Hello to all my News West 9 friends out there. They had the same idea, so I was flanked by them. And I was about ready to go on. I had my IFB, the earpiece in my ear, could hear the producer and the director, and I was getting my thoughts ready, and they were counting down, and I heard the reporter from the CBS station starting first. And instead of focusing in on what I had planned to say, I started listening to her to see, did she get a scoop that I didn't get? I don't want her to beat me. And I don't want to fail the station. So I started listening to her. When it came time for me to come on, I went blank. Total deer in the headlights moment, which felt like forever that I was staring at the camera and my notes. And then finally I snapped to it and just started. And I don't even know what came out of my mouth. It was like diarrhea of the mouth of the words. And I don't know if it made sense or not. I just spewed it out there because I was so nervous and thrown off. And as a rookie reporter, you're supposed to go back to the station, watch your live shots, watch your stories so that you can improve and learn from your mistakes, but I couldn't bear to do that. I was so just mortified at how bad I was. And to this day, almost 20 years later, it's still ingrained in my head. So I share this story with you all and oftentimes in my presentations because we all had to start somewhere. We all mess up and we improve from there. How many mistakes have you made when it comes to presentations or job interviews that you wish you could go back and correct, right? Hey Carla, hey Kristen, thanks for joining me on my Facebook Live video. We all mess up. And a lot of the F-ups stem from fear, right? Fear of another F word, failure. I was afraid of failing my station. I was afraid of not being the #1 reporter. I was afraid of getting beaten out by the other reporters with information that they had and I didn't. And I lost my confidence. And that's why I failed in that live shot. So a lot of it stems from confidence. So when it comes to your presentations, your videos, it has to do with being confident and preparing for what you are talking about and not being afraid to be real. Hey, Fred, thanks for tuning in. Have you ever heard of the acronym for fear? False evidence appearing real. And I think this is really great to keep in mind because let's say in my story here, my epic fail live shot, the false evidence was me going to be scooped and beaten by the other reporter. When in essence, we had the same information because we interviewed the same people, right? When it comes to presentations, what is our fear? Our false evidence appearing real, that our coworkers or our audience is going to laugh at us, that we're going to fall flat on our faces, that they don't respect us. No, we need to just get over that fear, that false evidence appearing real. And the best explanation I've read about when it comes to the root cause of our fear comes from a writer and speaker named Scott Birkin, who wrote the book Confessions of a Public Speaker. And he talked about how the way our brains are wired, it's impossible for us to not be afraid when we're put in the worst tactical position. And back in the day, in the caveman days, the worst tactical position was standing alone with no weapons, nowhere to hide, with a group of wild animals staring you down, ready to attack and eat you. And it's hard for our brains nowadays to differentiate between that real kind of threat and an imagined threat of an audience of people staring at us. So those ancestors of ours who survived developed this instinct of fight or flight. You guys have heard of that, right? So oftentimes when it comes to being in front of an audience, we want to flee or we want to fight. Hopefully not fight physically, but we want to fight some of those, fight our confidence and fight what we know. So by understanding that this is a false alarm, this is false evidence appearing real, that this fight or flight instinct that kicks in, that's been developed from our ancestors, is just a false alarm, and we can switch that off. That these audience members of people are not going to attack us, but they are ready to listen to us. And they really want to hear what we have to say. So to keep that in mind, to practice flipping that switch is going to help you each and every time get better at being able to overcome and manage that fear of public speaking. Just recognizing that this is false evidence appearing real. So thanks for the encouragement, Fred. Yes. And when it comes to public speaking, this is all very important to keep in mind. And I also wanted to just start the conversation too about fear in other arenas. I have less of a fear of public speaking now, but I'm a new entrepreneur. I've been at this business, Jessica Chang Consulting, coaching people on their public speaking skills and gaining confidence for a couple years now. But I still have this fear of failure when it comes to being a business owner, an entrepreneur. What if my business doesn't work? What if I do have to solely rely on a 9-to-5 job and working for someone else? I do have that now as I've developed my business, but my long-term goals is to be able to have my business as my own baby and to have the ability to call the shots on my own, make my own schedule. So I realized that I wanted to just share with you and be real with you all tonight that there are fears that we have as entrepreneurs and the imposter syndrome too. Have you ever heard of that? The imposter syndrome of feeling like, who am I to tell people how to be a better public speaker, right? So I'd love to be able to hear more from you, what your fears are, either as a business owner, entrepreneur yourself, or as a professional within your own industry or as a public speaker. I'd love to be able to find out and to know that I'm not alone and to be able to build this community of encouragement amongst all of my viewers and Facebook fans out there, to know that we're not alone and that we all have these moments of F-ups and fear and failure, and to learn that we can fail fast and move on. I'm still learning that now. So I hope this kickoff to a conversation triggers some thoughts for you. Please comment below and let me know what have been some of your F-ups and some of your fears. I would love to be able to continue this conversation next week and dive a little deeper. So I will see you next time, and have a great week.